Hi, it's Elise here at Bowman Library with a whole new middle grade book spotlight. So for this week, we are taking some inspiration from this amazing spring weather we finally have. Because all of the books we have this week have flowers on their cover. That's right, just like how we get flowers and trees finally blooming, we are exploring 6 different books, and they're all completely different. But their one common theme is they have flowers on their cover to get us in that spring weather, spring mood. So there's a little bit of something for everyone this week, so let's get started. Our first one is In the Tall, Tall Grass. So Yolanda is having a really hard time. Her grandfather passed away a year ago. Her best friend Gita is now best friends with her twin sister, and their grandmother's health has started to fail. And since they live with her, because their dad, who is widowed, her mom passed away a long time ago. He's currently in the army fighting overseas in Afghanistan. If her grandmother dies, there's a good chance Yolanda and her sister are going to end up in foster care. And Yolanda is just having a really hard time dealing with all of this. Then there's also the matter of her gift or her magical skill that members of her family receive when they turn 12. Hers has yet to make an appearance. Her sister got hers, her best friend got hers. Yolanda has not gotten hers yet, and she has no idea what is going on. So it's just adding even more stress to the situation. Now, when her grandmother falls into a deep sleep and will not wake up, Yolanda doesn't know what to do. She can't help but wonder, is this it? But one evening, all of a sudden, this really tall, strange grass starts to grow right outside their back door. And keep in mind, they live in a desert. Like, stuff doesn't grow like this. It just appears. Then, all of a sudden, Yolanda's grandmother wakes up, asks Yolanda to take her to the last pecan tree that is on their property. It's a ways away from the house, because there's this mysterious box there, and she needs to find this box, and she needs to open it before she passes away. Now, Yolanda, along with her sister, her best friend, and Gita's brother, they set off with her grandmother to make this last wish, this last journey possible. And it is along this way that Yolanda and the rest of them find out more about themselves than they ever thought they could have imagined on this journey. They find out about themselves and their relationship with one another and what they mean to each other, especially as Yolanda doesn't know if this is the last thing her grandmother is going to do and what's going to happen when they get to this tree. This is Into the Tall, Tall Grass. The Inquisitions Tale. So it's 1242 in France, and one evening at an inn, that's where our story starts, there are travelers there that are sharing stories that they have heard about these 3 miraculous children and their dog who have, as the legend goes, as the story is, they've returned from the dead. The 3 children each have their own gifts. Like, for example, Jeannie can see visions of the future, and William has this unbounded physical strength, and Jacob can heal the sick and the wounded. But these 3 are also the most wanted individuals in France, because at the moment there is a huge, and this actually really happens in history. This is based on, stuff that happened all the way back in the 1200s in France. At this time in history, there is a religious war. There are religions that they are fighting with each other. And depending on what religion you believed in at the time, some of the people in the story think that these 3 are saints, because that goes against another religion now. Because it goes against that religion, the other people in the other religion, they think they have to deal with the devil. And it doesn't help when these 3 are brought in front of the king and they do an act of defiance, which then, makes everyone want to go find them, capture them, and put them in front of this panel called the Inquisition to find out what their deal really is. Now, this is told through 10 different points of view. Each one reveals another piece of the story, which is useful in helping to figure out what really happened with these 3 individuals. Because did they really rise from the dead? Is this all made up? Is this just kind of like a folk legend? This is part historical. There is some fantasy, some magical realism in there. It is a super good read, but I will tell you, it can get complicated at parts, especially as it deals with a time in our world history that we really don't learn about. We don't know too much about it, but This read is well worth the effort in trying to understand, and it might even lead you to do a little bit of your own research. This is the Inquisitions Tale. Forget Me Not. So in this novel and verse, we meet 7th grader Callie, who loves astronomy, and she just wants some stability in her life. Her mother is always between boyfriends, which means they are always moving. She's tired of always being the new girl at school, especially with her Tourette syndrome. It draws even more attention to her on top of being the new girl, and usually not in a good way, because, if someone's a little bit different, they kind of seem to be looked down upon, unfortunately. It is at their new apartment that she meets Jin, who is this popular boy at the school she's going to be going to. They soon become friends, but he soon finds himself torn between his friendship to her and trying to preserve or maintain his popularity, especially when Callie's tics become more prominent. And Callie doesn't know where she stands, especially since she can't help her actions. It's not she's choosing to do this, it's just something her body does. This book provides some great insight into both the characters of Callie and Jin, and it's interesting to see life through both of their eyes, as someone who is living with Tourette syndrome and someone who is just trying to figure out what that even is. Highly recommend this one. Again, it's a novel in verse. If you love poetry, again, Forget Me Not. Orphan Island. So on a small island in the middle of nowhere, there are 9 orphans that live there together. And everything they need is provided for them. Their food, their shelter, their water, activities, animals, everything. Once a year, a boat arrives with a new orphan. And the new orphan is the youngest individual. And then because they bring someone new, the boat then takes away the oldest, making sure there will always be 9 orphans on the island. This year it's Dean who is taken away, Ginny's best friend, and now Ginny is the oldest, and it's her job to care and teach and train this new addition whose name is S. There are a few rules on this island. Everyone learns how to swim, everyone learns how to read, and you leave when it's your turn. As the year progresses and it starts to get closer to Ginny's day that she's going to have to leave because the boat's going to appear at any day, at any moment, she starts to wonder and question things because no one knows where they go. They don't know what happens when you get on this boat. And when Ginny breaks a cardinal rule, it's going to be up to her to restore the balance on this island, and she does the only thing that she thinks will make everything better. If you like your books with mystery and some thinking, some philosophical type questions, along with a little bit of dystopian in there, this one will make you wonder and guess every step of the way. Also, if you don't mind a somewhat frustrating ending, yeah, you'll like this one. This is Orphan Island. The extremely inconvenient adventures of Bronte Middleton. So growing up with her Aunt Isabel, Bronte has never known her parents. And when she is 10 years old, she gets a message letting her know that her parents are dead. They've been killed by pirates on one of their sea adventures, and Bronte's left by herself, along with their will. And it's in this will that they put Bronte in it, and they tell her she has to go on this epic journey. So her father has 10 sisters, so she has 10 other aunts on top of Aunt Isabel. And she's going to need to travel alone, and she's going to need to visit her 10 aunts individually and deliver them each a specific gift at a specific time. And if she's not able to do this, then she fails. And if she fails, then her hometown is going to be in serious danger and trouble from these pirates. As she sets off on this adventure, she thinks it's going to be super easy, but it soon becomes apparent that this is easier said than done. And there's going to be so many unexpected twists and turns on this adventure of a lifetime. And there's going to be moments where Bronte doesn't even know if she's going to be able to make it out alive. This is the first in a series. If you like an adventure mystery that's filled with some fantasy, you will totally enjoy this one, especially if you like some serious girl power. This is The Extremely Inconvenient Adventures of Bronte Middleton. And our last one for today is The House That Wasn't There. 11-year-old Alder is very angry at his new next-door neighbors after they cut down this huge walnut tree, which is located between their properties, between their 2 houses. And he wants nothing to do with Oak, who is the new girl who's living next door, even though she is his age and they are in the same exact 6th grade class. Alder's also having a tough time because his best friend since kindergarten has kind of dumped him. for some other friends. And Alder doesn't know who he's supposed to be now. Like, he doesn't really have any other friends. He doesn't know who he is as a person. Oak is having an equally hard time as she's a new girl in school, plus she doesn't want to be there. Like, she was forced to move from her hometown to this new city, doesn't know anyone, doesn't want to be there. Yeah. When Alder and Oak both adopt kittens from the same litter, though, even though they didn't know about the other, this was completely random on their own, they soon find the ice thawing between them as it seems the universe wants them to be friends. And especially when they find a portal to another dimension, as well as being assigned to partners on a school project, Alder and Oak are then forced together, and they're forced to work together to figure out what exactly is going on, and they soon find out they have more in common than what they ever thought. If you like a good realistic fiction story, a good story about friendship, if you like a little bit of magical realism mixed in, this amazing book and this look at friendship is one that will leave you turning the pages, and is one that everyone can pretty much relate to, because everyone's been there, where you've been the new person, where you've been having to make friends, you're not sure who you are. You will be able to see yourself and figure out what would you do if you were in their situation as well. This is the house that wasn't there. So these are the 6 little books we have here at the library that have flowers on their cover, taking us into this amazing spring season. So I encourage you to come on out, check out one of these, or we are here to help you find that perfect book that you're looking for, that maybe you want to read outside in this amazing weather. I hope you tune back next week when you have a whole new middle grade book spotlight, and I hope you have an amazing week.